You are listening to talkSPORT Sunday afternoon. Danny Mills is with us, so is Leanne Sanderson, and we've got James Savundra with us as well, live from the Emirates Stadium. Hello. And that game just finished, has it? Arsenal-Chelsea's women?
It has just finished. A really entertaining game. It finished Arsenal 2, Chelsea 1. Arsenal with a lead in the opening half through Katie McCabe. Then second half, both sides made a number of changes, 9 actually each after the hour mark, and things really opened up then. But that was after what was a really serious-looking injury concern for Jordan Nobbs, who went off on a stretcher. The subs came on. They looked really impressive, actually. A number of academy graduates getting an opportunity. It was Rihanna Blaze with a great run all the way through the Arsenal half, really, and a well-placed finish for the Blues. But literally, a couple of minutes later, the Gunners got the lead once again. It was Freya Jupp who came off the bench and was really impressive. A massive cheer for that goal as well, because the crowd has started to build now ahead of the men's game. But a really entertaining clash. No Emma Hayes there, actually. She's been feeling a little bit under the weather, so she didn't take charge of this game. The good news for Chelsea is, yes, they have lost the game, but it's 5 weeks now they've got to prepare for the start of the WSL season as they look to reclaim their title. And as for Arsenal, they've got a Champions League tie in just a couple of weeks, so really good preparation for them. A really good game all in all. It finished Arsenal 2, Chelsea 1.
OK, James, just a bit of breaking news which has reached us in the last few minutes, and that is that Gary Cahill has confirmed that he has left Crystal Palace. He played 45 times in the Premier League for them over the last couple of seasons. There is a double-header today, Arsenal hosting Chelsea's men and women at the Emirates ahead of the new seasons in the Premier League and the WSL. James, just give us a sort of overview of the point of this double-header and why it's taking place today.
So it's such an important afternoon. It's the Mind Series. What we usually see happen during pre-season is clubs go to all different parts of the world to take part in these lucrative pre-season friendlies. But because of the way things have been with COVID, Arsenal actually made the decision not to go out to America for their pre-season. But this is a series taking place between Chelsea, Tottenham and Arsenal, and they're coming together to support better mental health. So a lot of the funds raised from this series is going to be split between Mind and also the respective club foundations, also each delivering these projects supporting mental health and well-being. So it's all about promoting mental health awareness as we all emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected everybody really. So Mind, that's the UK's leading mental health charity. So lots of money being raised today as the crowds continue to come in here. There's a match on Wednesday as well. Arsenal taking on Spurs on Sunday and Chelsea taking on Spurs this weekend as well. So really interesting games. And also for Chelsea, it's going to be interesting because a few of the players are coming back from international duty. They had 18 players on international duty this summer. There's some of them still on holiday at the moment. But as for Arsenal, Mikel Arteta must be delighted with the amount of time he's able to have with his players. It's only Bukayo Saka who he's waiting to come back from international duty. So no excuses for Arsenal at the start of the season.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a game that Chelsea particularly need at this stage. Back to that in just a second. But let's focus on the women if we can just for a second, Leanne. It was today that was also the first game for their new manager, Jonas Ideval, who he really did have to hit the ground running, didn't he? Because he's only just taken charge and only just turned up at London Colney.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, Joe Montemero did a really good job at Arsenal, but he missed his family. He needed to go back to Australia. So, yeah, he's got in there, ground running. I think, it's great they're playing these double headers. We did them at Arsenal when I played there, and we played at Highbury. We played against Fulham after the men, and I think it's a really good initiative that needs to be done more, because I think you can get more crowds in there. I think the women's game has changed now where people do want to watch the game and they will go. So I think it's brilliant. And how great is it that they're playing against competitive teams in pre-season? You never thought you'd see an Arsenal, men play against Tottenham men in pre-season, would you? So, it's fantastic they get this type of competition so close to the season starting.
How close are Arsenal going to be to breaking up the duopoly of Chelsea and Manchester City at the top of the WSL, do you think?
I still think they're a little bit off of that. I think Emma Hayes at Chelsea has done an unbelievable job and she just keeps adding and adding. Manchester United have added a few players in this off-season as well. Got a new manager in there, Mark Skinner, so they're going to be looking to do big things. They're only 3 years in existence, so, Man United are going to be up there as well. But City and Chelsea, I'd say, will be the dominant forces. But having a new manager, when a new manager comes in, all the players have to prove their worth. So I'm looking forward to my former club, Arsenal, one of my former clubs, doing well.
Yeah, if we look at all of your former clubs,
it'll be the whole league.
All afternoon. James, just a quick word on them. What's happening in the men's game? Who do we expect to see from Chelsea? You mentioned that it's pretty much a full team available to Mikel Arteta for Arsenal. We haven't got any team news yet, have we? But what is the latest in terms of who Chelsea have brought with them?
We're still waiting on the team news at the moment, as you say, Sam. I think they're waiting for the full-time whistle to come here, and then we'll have the teams coming out training shortly. What was really interesting, they had the game against Bournemouth in the week. They had the likes of Danny Drinkwater playing, Baba Rahman, all these names that were signed by Chelsea a long time ago, getting opportunities simply because a number of the players, when you look at the number of players that got into the Euro final of Italy and England, that's 5 of Chelsea's frontline players missing. But what's happened in the last week or so, N'Golo Kante, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Antonio Rudiger, they've come back into training. Andreas Christensen popped in the other day, I don't think he'll play today. And also you had Cesar Azpilicueta, he joined training at the end of last week. I wouldn't be surprised if those 2 players feature, but I think we will see minutes for Kante, Havertz, Werner and Rudiger as well. And you will see some of the younger players who have featured in pre-season in that game against Bournemouth, and there was a behind closed doors game against Peter as well. They'll gradually, I think, be phased out of the squad as they look for low moves or potentially permanent moves. One player who's left already, Conor Gallagher, he played on Wednesday night and he's gone to Crystal Palace on loan. So for Thomas Tuchel, a lot of players, a lot of juggling about to do, but as I say, Mikel Arteta, he looks like he's in a really good place heading into this new season.
And no European football for him to worry about as well. We'll ask you a question about that in just a second. But Danny, Chelsea, as James has been saying, has been giving fringe players the opportunity to get some minutes under their belts. Tammy Abraham may well end up going to Arsenal if Arteta gets his way. Malang Sarr, Ruben Loftus-Cheek linked with a move to Germany. Danny Drinkwater played against Bournemouth the other night. Is there any suggestion that any of them can sort of break into Tuchel's squad?
I think it's going to be very difficult to see some of those players breaking in. I think if you look at Danny Drinkwater, you would be very surprised. A lot of these players are simply just trying to get... Well, Tuchel's just trying to get players to be able to feature in these matches. So you'd expect Drinkwater to go out on a loan spell. You'd think time's run out for him when it comes to Chelsea. But there are a number of young players who were impressive the other night. And you're looking at the likes of Ross Barkley and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. They featured off the bench the other evening. And you do wonder whether Tuchel sees any real... I guess I can't see them featuring this season for Chelsea. There are a number of interesting players. I think some of the younger players are really exciting. It's just whether or not they get the opportunities. I think Chelsea is still looking for 1 or 2 players. I think a centre-back will come in soon. It'll be Zuma that probably does leave the club this summer. Out of all the centre-backs that Tuchel has had at his disposal in the last 6 to 8 months, I think Zuma's been the player he hasn't fancied as much.
Danny?
Sorry, it keeps breaking up a little bit there. No, I just want to... Chelsea's squad is absolutely immense. I mean, with the Harry Kane saga, it's the centre forward. Is that the only position that Chelsea really need to strengthen in, do you think, James? Because when you look at the rest of the squad, it's up there with Man City's, I think, in terms of strength in depth. Is that centre forward the only position that you would say they really need to go out and spend big on?
I think centre forward, the other position is centre back, and that's only because there's a number of players whose contract comes up either next year or the year after, and Thiago Silva probably won't go on, you'd think, beyond this season for Chelsea. I think they're really willing to give Timo Werner another go, and I was actually really impressed with him. I know a lot of fans were disappointed with his output in that opening season, but I think his second season in the Premier League, I'm expecting big things. His movement is brilliant. If he can just time his runs slightly better, I think he will score a serious number of goals for Chelsea this season. But as you say, Danny, the squad is incredible that Tuchel's got at his disposal. There's young players coming through as well who may feature, but I don't think he needs a huge amount at all to get this side into a situation where they could maybe challenge for the title this season.
The Sunday Session with Sam Matterface every Sunday afternoon on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.